Many people obviously know Steve Jobs. A lot of people also know Tim Cook, but very few people actually know who John Sculley is as the most hated CEO of Apple. Now, on May 28th, 1985, Steve Jobs was removed from his own company. The man who did it thought he was saving Apple. He almost ended it. This is that story. Now, before Apple, he sold soda, and he was the best in the world at it. He was the youngest Pepsi president in history. The board of Apple looked at his resume and saw exactly what they wanted. But his tech experience was zero. And his total compensation offer was $2 million in those days dollars. Now, do you want to sell sugar water for the rest of your life? Steve Jobs said to John Sculley in 1983. Sculley had never heard anything like it, and nobody had. So his offer was $1 million base salary, $1 million signing bonus, $1 million severance, and then the title president and CEO, reporting to nobody in 1983 dollars. This was the most expensive question in Apple's history. Now, for 1 year, Apple was unstoppable. January 2022, Super Bowl. You literally have the ad in January 2022. Macintosh, 74,000 units sold in 100 days. Jobs and Sculley, the partnership. This is $1.5 billion in Apple's revenue in 1984, up from $983 million in 1983. This was before the knife actually went in. Jobs was brilliant, but he was also impossible to work with. By late 1984, the board was choosing sides. So Jobs was a product vision was unmatched, engineer motivation exceptional, board behavior erratic, management style brutal. Sculley, revenue growth exceptional, operational control excellent, product instinct absent, board support growing. And in 1984, Jobs loses Mac division PL control. Early 1985, Jobs plans coup. April 1985, Sculley learns of the coup. May 1985, board meeting called. Now, in May 28, 1985, Sculley went to the board first. Jobs has been planning to remove Sculley while Sculley was traveling. Someone told Sculley he came back early. The vote was unanimous. Jobs kept the title chairman with nothing underneath it. He called it a death sentence. 3 months later, he resigned. He never forgave Sculley, not publicly, not privately. Now, here's what nobody tells you. Under Sculley, Apple made more money than it has ever had, from $983 million to $8 billion in 10 years. Okay, but zero product launches that actually mattered. He wasn't incompetent. He just was the wrong operating system for what Apple actually was. He built a perfect machine with no soul. The body caught up with the wound. So the product failure in 1993, the Newton message pad, $700 retail price, handwriting recognition that didn't work, mocked on The Simpsons, $100 million development cost. Windows 95 was coming. Is Apple finished? Business Week, Fortune, The Wall Street Journal, the same question, 3 publications, 1 quarter. So in 1993, the board called a meeting. This time, Sculley was the one being removed. Same board, same room, different name on the door being closed. Michael Spindler named CEO. Sculley left with his reputation intact. He thought, right? With the $10 million severance, he declined the transition role offer. Now, in 1997, Apple had 90 days of cash left. 90. 2 CEOs after Sculley, both failed. Market share below 4%. Stock price $4. Michael Dell publicly suggested Apple should shut down, return the money to the shareholders. The company that invented the personal computer was 90 days from not existing. Now, December 1996, Apple bought Next for $429 million. The asset they were buying wasn't the software, though. It was the actual CEO, Steve Jobs, back. So in 1997, you have the interim CEO. You have the iMac, 1998. You then have iPod, 2001, iPhone, 2007, iPad, 2010. One man, 15 years, the most valuable company in human history. Okay? So, and then you literally got the stock price in 1997 to $4 to $705. Now, he went on record, I probably shouldn't have been CEO of Apple. I didn't have the right experience to run that kind of company Apple needed to be. This is John Sculley in Bloomberg. So what he built, again, revenue $800 million to $8 billion, market presence global, duration 10 years, product legacy Newton, 25 years later, unprompted in his own words. But what he couldn't build was product vision absent, cultural conviction borrowed, and the thing Apple needed was unknown to him. So this was never about John Sculley. This was about operational excellence, which is revenue, market share, efficiency, quarter to quarter, best operator for current scale, minimum downside, to visionary leadership. Does this product change behavior? Decade to decade, best steward of the belief system, embrace necessary chaos, and then they literally removed it. Okay, so they removed it when they fired Steve Jobs. Now, every company eventually faces the question, do you optimize for management or for vision? Sculley was the best operator of his generation. He ran the machine perfectly, but Apple was never a machine. It was a belief system. When you remove the person who holds a belief, no matter how disruptive, no matter how difficult, you don't just lose a leader. You lose the reason the whole thing exists. So, if you really think about it, what if he never made the call? If he never made the call, there'd be no iPhone, there'd be no iPad, there'd be no App Store, no most valuable company in human history, just a man who sold soda, running a company that sold computers until it didn't. History doesn't forgive the decisions that almost happened.